What's really good, ladies and gentlemen? It's the OG Burico Don Dada, aka Chef. I got my girl Emma in the building. I've been trying to get a hold of her and talk with her. We've both been going through some crazy ish. Emma, how are you? And I can't wait to chop it up.
I'm good, and it's finally good to be actually hooking up.
It's true. Like we've been trying to do this. At one point, you had got sick. I wind up cracking my ribs. Everything was all over the place. And then we were chopping it up right before we came on here, and I'm like, you know what? This is such a dope point. Before I even ask you anything, the OnlyFans things, I want you to literally start with how you said it because I think that people like myself have got a bad ideology of OnlyFans.
It is. I've been like silent, not silently, but like I will go out of my way and talk to athletes about OnlyFans and say it's more than just what it used to be for women back in the day. A lot of big MMA companies, take PFL for instance, are using the platform to interview and introduce their fighters to the public, but it's not behind a paywall. There's nothing salacious about it. It is just like you and I talking now,
Yep.
but on the platform of OnlyFans. And in this day and age, there's just so much more to it. You have to look past what it used to be. I mean, there's PTs, there's workouts. Like I said, there's interviews you will find on there from big MMA outlets with their new fighters that you will not find on any other platform because it's on OnlyFans. I mean, Justin Gagey is with OnlyFans. There are so many hella top athletes that are partnering with OnlyFans. Yes, it had that stigma, but I'm trying to I'm a female, and I'm trying to say, you got to look past that. Sure, if you want to look for that content, you will look for it and you will find it. And you will probably find it cheaper on other platforms, let's just say. But OnlyFans, and it's a way for athletes to earn a little bit extra money sometimes. If they're putting a little paid prescription per month, like $5 a month, you're going to get some PT workouts. You're going to get some behind the scenes. I don't know about you, but because I've interviewed a lot of athletes, I love behind the scenes stuff. I am such a sucker of oh, how did that happen? And how did we get to here? I'm always on a behind the scene mission. And if it happens to be on OnlyFans, then sure, I'm looking on it. But it's 2025. Ladies, gentlemen, we have to get rid of that stigma. Sure, it's still going to be there, of course, but it's so much more.
Yeah, it really is. And like I said, I admit to my ignorance to it for a certain extent because, I'm a fan of somebody like Carmen Electra, and I know she got her stuff, right? So you see these people that you've been a fan of since you've been younger, and you're like, oh, and then you know what's going on. So you just think, oh man, this is just for adult kind of content. And then when you start seeing people actually, like you said, physical training and everything, and it's one thing that myself and you have done through interviewing people. I think one of the coolest parts about actually talking with them is to understand their come up, right? Like what got you to this point? Like you said, it's what struggles did you go through? How did you maintain working and training and the financial aspects of it? A lot of these guys and girls, they have amazing partners that help with it and they take care of the household, either male or female, because I've interviewed females where the husbands I'll take care of home, you go do your thing, right? So with all that extra stuff that you find, and like I said, I'm agreeing with you 100% because the more I get to actually see these people outside of the ring, that's the part that I like. I love that part where we get to find out how these people really are.
Yeah, see, that's what I've always concentrated on in my ring career was backstories, because everybody just loves a good backstory. That there's just so much grit, determination to 99% or 90%, let's just say, of them. And And it's good to see where it's come from. And also, when it's on a platform of OnlyFans, it's like, it's not in the mainstream.
Yeah.
If you get what I'm saying.
Yep.
You know, it doesn't go to mainstream outlets. It like I said, PFL started doing it because they've got a partnership with OnlyFans. That's financial for them, but it's also important because it's where all their new athletes and their athletes are telling us about them, and it's the only content that you're going to get from them, unless of course you can get a one-on-one setting, but majority it is just purely you have to go to this platform to see their new things. It's I'm just going to take us off topic a minute. It's like when Instagram introduced what is it that we get? Not notifications, you know, you get
Alerts?
invited.
It's like a group.
Yeah, it's like a group WhatsApp, but only you haven't consented really to it. But you get all the news. See, I personally have seen a drop off in press releases that I used to get because they're doing it via Instagram on. I can't think of the word, but you know what I mean, on the mass notification side in that little you know, you have to like say, yeah, I want to be part of. So I noticed as soon as that started happening on Instagram that I was getting less and less emailed press releases. And it's just the same for like OnlyFans. You have to log on to it. I don't think in 2025 we should be being, oh no, I can't do that. That's, you know, we're not in the 80s, guys. We're 2025. It is a bugbear of mine. And I actually talked to one athlete about OnlyFans. He's religious, so I kind of probably picked the wrong. I mean, he did put OnlyFans down, which is great, you know, but he's like, I love it because now you can see them coming a mile off. This is quote unquote, because it has link in the bio and the pictures. So that's all you need to look out for, or if you're worried about that side of the old OnlyFans, let's just say, is because you know, like I said, you can see these kind of women that just solely do OnlyFans for that aspect with link in the bio. So no, I think OnlyFans should actually sponsor me because because I'm such a like, I put it out there. I'm like, OnlyFans is for everyone, and I always use PFL, you know, as my template of like, look at PFL. No, they're not making money from it, but it's, you know, behind the scenes financially, I can guarantee so. But to us that are just fans of PFL and MMA in general, then no, there's no money. It's not behind a paywall. There's exclusive interviews that you won't find anywhere. Not on YouTube, you know, not on our Instas, not on our TikToks, nowhere bar going to OnlyFans.
No, and I agree, and not for nothing. Listen, we're gonna have to start tagging them because we got to make that happen. We need Emma to get that OnlyFans sponsorship because I mean, listen, I don't think I've ever talked to a female who ever promoted it that way, right? Like never got that. I'm gonna say educated. Let me say educated because usually it's just like, oh man, OnlyFans ain't just for that, right? Like, but you came with the whole basis and knowledge of what it does and what it brings. And I'm a fan of PFL because of my oldest. He got into PFL and he was the first one that was like, yo, check this out. And I'm like, what's that on? Like, I'll just send me the YouTube link or whatever. I watch it. He's like, nah, it's on OnlyFans. And I'm like, what are you on OnlyFans for? You know what I'm saying? Like, he was like, no, PFL uses this heavy, right? So I started like getting into it. I'm like, yo, this is dope. But you train in mixed martial arts.
Yeah, so I used to train in boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, MMA, and I did all of that before I started my writing career in MMA, purely because, well, one, I love combat sports, two, the kickboxing was the family class with my son. So it was both of us. But the main was because I felt if I'm writing about a sport, and especially a male-dominated combat sport, then if I'm going to be like the only female sat cage side, I need to know my shit, because it's, you know, you're going to get shit either way on whatever you do. But at least I could write or sit and do a play-by-play as it happens and get every terminology and move right, that no guy could come up to me and say, what do you think you're doing?
Yeah, yeah.
So mine was like knowledge, but I also loved the discipline and loved the discipline in martial arts. You know, going forward, it's I fell in love with it from a younger age. So I started doing that. I was doing ring girl work, and then I was like, yeah, I'm gonna hang that up now, and the writing fell into my lap. It was an off-the-cuff comment I made to a friend. He was supposed to be covering a show, and he double booked himself, and it's for the next day. I went, hey, do you think your outlet would just like let me go and write? Checked with them. I went, yeah. Started from them and has never stopped. I've never looked back, in all honesty, you know, and especially as MMA is getting the recognition that it finally deserves, you know. But yeah, I'm still at my local show. So our local show's been going nearly 10 years, but I'm still that only female sat right next cage side or goes everywhere, you know, into the changing rooms, interviews and stuff. But I'm still that lone female in my town. There are more women coming up, don't get me wrong. And it's great. I mean, I love the UFC for showing the likes of the diversity of Laura Sanko. Let's take Laura Sanko. She's a great inspiration. You know, she started training for her in jiu-jitsu for her mental health. Fast forward like 18, 20 years, she now commentates for UFC, and she made history doing it for the UFC. And then we could take Charlie Arnold, who is a journalist, you know, relays information. One UFC night, Joe Martinez, the ring MC, got sick. Charlie stepped in, just like that, and made history for the first female as well, announcing fights in the cage for UFC. We are involving. There's still not enough of us.
It's true, and I'm not trying to cut you off because
no,
females to this day, like I grew up playing basketball and football and played at a pretty high level. I had a friend of mine. There was no WNBA. Her name was Amory, and Amory played with all of us. Like, and in the '90s, it was like everywhere you played was like prison rules, right? Like, I mean, point game, I'm throwing my brothers into fences, right? I've seen her get thrown into fences, and it was like never like, you know, in the beginning, because she was like my homegirl. If you fouled it, like we're fighting. But it got to a point where she got manhandled so much that she was just one of the guys, and her jump shot was crazy, her dribble was crazy, and it was like, oh, you'll never be good enough because you're a girl, and that kind of shit used to make me mad because I won championships with her, and I'm like, this girl's so talented, but there's not an outlet for her. And until, like, I think, let's just say like a Ronda Rousey to me. Ronda Rousey, I think, was the girl who kind of changed the landscape for women. And to this day, the women still have such a harder time. And I even talked when I did an interview with Bret Hart. I was like, yo, if you watch a woman fight, women just are like a car crash. It's just booming, and they're just going to war for their entire fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you watch the men try to gauge, time each other's punches. They dance a little bit. They move around.
Isn't it? It's like their feeling out process. Whereas women, like you said, they go all in straight away.
Yep.
Whereas like men have a feeling out process.
And we're watching fights, right? So I want to watch a fight. To me, the women, there's never a bad fight, right? Like they go full toe, blow to blow for all rounds. And I'm like, y'all only hating on women because they're not men. And it's 2025, and I still don't understand well, women should stay in their lane. What fucking lane is that, right? Like, shit. Like I was talking to you, we had a laugh. I mean, before we even had kids, I've been with my wife 26 years. We were walking down the street coming from a movie. 3 dudes walked up, tried to rob us. Me and my wife beat the shit out of 3 guys, right? My wife, she grew up with nothing but brothers. She could fight. And people were like, yo, I heard y'all almost got jumped. I'm like, no, we whooped that ass. And they're like, damn, Liz is wild, right? But it's people still, and I do not understand with all the greatness that we're seeing through even just say like a Caitlin Clark in basketball. Mataroon May was like she is the first NHL female to play in the league. There are so many women that did iconic shit, but they never get the respect for it, and it drives me nuts.
I'm with you on that. What also drives me nuts is like, yes, Ronda Rousey brought the women into the UFC, but we got to remember she had a dance partner called Liz Carmouche. Without Liz Carmouche, there would not have been. And also, like, was it? I interviewed Julie Kedzie a couple months back, actually. May not ring bell to you. She was the first female with Gina Carano to ever air on American TV a women's MMA fight. Now, Gina Carano, she got me into sport. I am a huge fan of Gina's. But I think people forget that they have a dance partner, and hers was Julie Kedzie, and she has amazing stories the same. But you're right, as long as we've got the Ronda Rouseys, the Gina Caranos, of that fight world. And I think Beck Rawlins was the first BKFC female fighter, was she?
I think so. Like,
yeah,
I want to say so and I don't want to sound ignorant, but to me, when I think of longevity of women BKFC, I think Christina Ferea, or I mess up everybody's name. She's the one that always, because I think she's been there she's been there and I always recognize her as the girl. If there was 2 people, 3 before her, I'm not sure, but when I think of the beginning, I always remember her and her lineage at that time. And I mean, she's just phenomenal. But it's like, at what point do we sit back and finally say, women actually do what they do? Like, they're great. Like, and I think that I understand it's a male-dominated sport, but it's not 1970 no more, right? Like the day of social media, if a girl fights in Thailand, I could see it, right? Like, I don't need to try to buy a pay-per-view. It's going to be on something, right? Like, it's just how it is. Through social media, you'll find anything. It's not like before where if a girl fought and it was only in one spot and they didn't have like a pay-per-view deal, you weren't going to see it. And it's like we get so much greatness, but for some reason we just can't give our flowers to all these women who train just as hard. And let's be honest, like, and you're a woman, it's harder to control your body and keep your body at a certain level at a professional level, right? Like, dudes, we don't have to worry about the pregnancy. I mean, I'm not trying to sound like an asshole saying that guys don't be there for their wives, but we don't got to sit there with that pressure and problem and the abuse the body takes.
And that's another good thing about athletes being on OnlyFans. You get to see how they work out every month, and and the females, and how we work around our cycles or incorporate them. And like you said, weight is always going to fluctuate in a female more than a male. Yeah, give me hate now, I don't care. But I'm telling you, it's a fact. Us women retain more water than a man does. So you got to factor that in when you're fighting.
Yep.
The water cut, the water weight, the cycle, which bit of your cycle you are at. Because I'm telling you, it is all different. It is all so different. And I'm not saying, oh, bar humbug me. I'm just saying, people need to look at the optics more of like, it's more challenging for a female to get in that pristine pro weight and getting it down to a niche of like, you know, I got to maintain this week weight. I can't eat that this week. Can't drink that this week. Oh, but I'll go to bed at X amount of pounds and wake up way more. It's water retention. It's, yeah. Life of female is absolutely fucking great, by the way. But I really don't think that like people give females enough credit for what a female puts their body through. Yes, her choice at the end of the day, 100%. But at the end of the day, we are so different. We carry humans for 9 months. You know, how great are we? We are, you know. That aside, we still have the issues that the men do. So it bugs me when a man doesn't make weight. And you got a female that is bang on weight. It's that double-edged sword of like, there isn't enough to be said about a female in male sports, because like you said, you know, we've got a women's basketball division. Yes, we have women's fights, but like, in a way, it's like, in the beginning, do you remember in the beginning of MMA, it used to be called WMMA?
Yep.
And I forget how long ago we dropped the W, because it's like, we're the same, but just female.
You're in the same fight, same rules, same times. Like, why does it have to be women's? It's basketball, it's football, it's hockey, it's MMA, it's boxing, right? Like, I don't want to see the women's boxing. It's just boxing. Like, we just had Katie Taylor and Serrano, right? That's the first ever, which in 2025, when they said it, I was like, no way, that's the first ever all-female card? Like, and when I heard that, I had to Google it.
We actually had that in the UK a couple of years ago.
You see?
Our all-female professional UK card headlined by, I forget who it is, but my best friend is a boxer and she'll kill me she's a pro boxer too. She'll kill me for forgetting because she was on the card. But we had an all-female at the O2 Wembley in the UK. It was an all-female card. So we had that a couple of years ago. But yes, in Madison Square Garden, the home of fighting for an all-female card was just, you know, that was truly iconic. You know,
it's so special. Like, I had a friend that was there, and he was like, bro, he's the guy who literally got me into like UFC back in the days when it was like bans from everything.
You had to get the videotapes, yeah?
Yeah, you had to get the VHS tapes. So he was like, bro, he goes, I'm here. I'm like, where? Right? Because he don't even have the video on. He's on Messenger. He's like, I'm here. I look out my door like, you don't even live in the same state as me no more, bro. And he's like, what? I'm like, I got the lights on. I don't see nothing. He's like, no, I'm at the fight. I'm like, well, you should have said that. Put the video. Let me see.
Yeah.
He's showing the crowd. Everybody's crazy. And I'm like, as much, and we kind of talked about this, as much as I don't like Jake Paul, the human, as a promoter, what he's doing for boxing and women's boxing is incredible. Take nothing away from him, because all his people are getting paid. And it's something that Jessica I just recently said that she left UFC because they weren't getting paid the right amount of money. And I was like, damn, right? Like, it's incredible when you think UFC is like the mecca of you know, combat sports. How are people not getting the money that they deserve? And it's like, shit, right? Like, you got to do whatever. And then this is where we can go back to that OnlyFans thing, is if you're not making enough money from whatever, and you could have a platform where you make your money and you do the physical trainings, you do your, you know, just going for a hike and chilling, or, you know, whatever. People get to be like, damn, man, she's like us. He's like us, right? Like, give more. These people should get more. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
At least make it equal, you know? At least. And you're right about Jake Paul. I'm not on the human side of him, but as a promoter, and he's Serrano's manager, in making the UFC, I believe, he actually made the UFC kind of up, you know, the money situation. He is doing amazing things.
Yeah, and then on the other hand, and I'm a big BKFC guy, we had Connor in South Florida, right? And people say Miami, it's not. It's Broward. It's right before Miami. They're in the Hard Rock, and I don't know if you see the clip, but it looks like that he kind of, you know, sniffs something again. He gets all wired, and I'm like, if BKFC, and I'm not trying to shit on BKFC, I love BKFC, but I don't think they're doing the right thing, because if he's as high as everybody keeps saying he is, this guy needs help. And then now there's pictures of him making out with some woman that's not Devin on a beach chair.
I would rather go the weights way with McGregor. Did you actually catch that over Twitter with Azealia Banks? Well done, Azealia Banks. It's about time that person was getting what he does to everybody else.
You know, but like, you know what it is? Like, I was a big Conor guy in UFC. Like, I'm from the era of talking shit and, you know, whatever. That's my era. And I loved Conor. I was like, man, it's been forever since we had somebody like this. But when if I'm become a fan, I'm not a fan of a lot of people. I dive deep into it. I want to know the history. I want to know the come up. This guy was homeless, right? He ain't had nothing. And his wife, Devin, was the one that worked, supported him, held him down, bear, like 4 or 5 kids with him. Like, she's been, and you've heard, no, like, she hasn't been with nobody. She hasn't cheated. You keep hearing this. We know he's cheated. And you're like, bro, you have the perfect woman. You have someone that's rode out with you from the beginning, and you still want more. And Devin is a beautiful woman. Like, if you look at it, that's a gorgeous woman.
Yeah, Diaz, she held him down. You know, she'd make him nutritional meals, and you know, the story's well versed in the UK and Ireland. I mean, I was no McGregor fan. I was lucky enough that I did a UFC media call when McGregor was fighting Jose.
Oh, wow.
So I got through and I managed to ask Jose Aldo and McGregor 3 questions now. And I was scared asking McGregor because of his persona and women.
Yeah.
However, he was really nice and polite to me. And I think the call is still on YouTube somewhere. Submission Radio had them recorded back then, before the UFC started recording their own UFC only media calls. So it is on there to listen to. But he was actually decent, nice, and replied, has it still made me a fan of his? No, I've changed my perception of, like, you got Conor in the cage and then Conor on a media call. I was going to say back then Conor as a human, but as we've gone on, I think he has lost his way a little. And the stats come out the other day that he has not fought MMA in 4 years. 4 years. Yet he wants to be back in the tester pool just so he can fight at the White House.
Yeah, that's what I don't get, right? Like, I talk to a lot of BKFC guys, and I'm like, yo, I get that Conor is a name. He's a draw, right? If you say Conor, you know he's got a big following. I get it. He hasn't fought in 4 years, right? Like, and I think the worst thing, even though he got the most money of it, was fighting Floyd, right? Because that completely, we didn't see him in UFC for a long time. He fought Floyd, didn't see him, then he got the leg break, and you're like, I get it, but he hasn't fought in 4 years. Like, and I get it, you know, he's cool with Trump and everything, but what do you think you're going to look like without being battle tested? In 4 years, you haven't had a fight. I know anyone wants to do it because to say they've been the first person to ever fight on the White House lawn. I get that, but I mean, to be honest, it's still just a cage fight. Yeah, granted, it's an inaugural thing because it's on the fucking lawn of the White House, but who gives a shit where you fight, right? Like a fighter fights anywhere. You haven't fought in 4 years. I'm not sure what you think is really going to look like because you really want to go and get your ass whooped bad on your first fight back.
And the thing is with that as well, he's not just going to agree to any opponent. It's going to be a high name in the UFC, which makes it even more sadder, in my own opinion, of like, okay, so this guy wants to fight Conor, fine. But I think what we will see, if it happens, is what Dustin Poirier did to him. Leg break.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I'm not putting it out there so it happens. I'm just saying, look at that Conor that turned up to fight Poirier.
Yep.
Second round leg break. And that's another thing that irks me is like people get injured, obviously, in the sport of MMA or BKFC. But what you don't see people acknowledging is the fact that like it was their opponent that actually managed to cause that damage in the first place. Yeah, they got a shitty leg break. Not good. It may have been weak. It may have been fractured to start with. However, it was in that fight that his opponent managed to do it, or her opponent. I don't see the athletes getting credited enough when a fight is stopped due to like that. And a prime example is Lauren Murphy in Invicta when she was fighting Miriam. Fourth round, wasn't it? She just, I'm not sure if it was a leg break or something, but it was the takedowns prior in the first 3 rounds that kind of initiated that whole thing for Miriam. And Lauren never got props. They're like, oh, she won the title because she, it was called off because Miriam had broke or it takes a long while for things like that to actually register. I mean, it took me a long while in my career to think, okay, but being a seasoned vet now in combat sports, it's like you've got to give credit to those people that have taken those takedowns and then an injury has happened. You've landed in a wrong position, or you might have had something a weak bone going into it, but it was still the lead up of those takedowns from that Invicta fight, for reference, that Miriam lost. It's just I mean, we want new combat sports fans, but I think we should give it to them little by little still, as they call them, casuals. Like how many people are tuning in for Poirier's last fight tomorrow? I know I will, but I'm a hardcore Poirier fan anyway. But the casuals will be, oh my God, I saw on social media, like, he came out to Rihanna's wasn't Rihanna's, it was the boys' diamonds. But that boy died.
He died?
Yeah, I only found that out when Nina Marie Daniels was interviewing Poirier before that last fight, and she was playing the track, and I love her content, by the way. She's a breath of fresh air in MMA. She's so funny, she's so goofy. I've met her. She is so lovely. But she was playing the song, and Dustin was like, "Yeah, I know," and then he's like, "He died." And it was like, oh, I didn't know that until I watched that interview. So there's people now on social slating that version, saying never beat Rihanna. And I'm sitting there thinking, that boy died. Just. And anyway, he comes out to James Brown, so he mixes it up. But he did have that version and James Brown mixed in. But yeah, that boy died. That boy died. And people are just mean on the internet, aren't they? It's just...
I mean, like, even, and it annoys me because, like I said, I only reason why I go so super hard, I'm not even gonna lie to you, is I had did an interview with a female wrestler years ago. Like she was a friend, she got on TNA. I had a different platform, and people were like, bro, nobody goes to wrestling shows for women. And I'm like, were you at the tapings? And they were like, no. I was like, well, that fight is going to be the best in the whole month you're going to see. Those women got that crowd going crazy. And I got a lot of hate comments. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to be that guy from now on that does nothing but talk about the women, right? And if people get upset, I don't give a shit, right? Like, so be it. I had wrote something on Christina Fierro's thing, and people like, dude, that's a man. I'm like, that's a man. What are you talking about? That's a man. Why? Because she got her sides shaved and dreads on. Like, what makes her a man? Look at her. And I'm like, all right. So when I looked at the guy's stuff, I'm like, oh, so you're a female because you look kind of feminine, right? Like, so he got all upset, and I'm like, but it's the same thing, bro. Like, everybody wants to be a hater. In my era, nobody liked a hater, right? Like, if you was a hater, we looked at you as a clown. Now people make little stupid accounts so they can be racist, they can be sexist, they can be haters. And I'm like, but what do you get out of this? These people, you know, they train their fucking asses off for years. And for clowns like you to keep talking shit.
Yeah, and that's what you got to feel it for the athletes. Do you know what I mean? I stay out of the comment sections if I'm posting my own stuff now, because I've learned that like nothing ever good comes from it. You know, it's just like I will actually probably like their comment, if anything. It'd be like, yeah. Do you know what I mean? But I just stay out of the comments and I'll just post what I need to post anyway. You know, it's all our own opinions. So that's their opinion. It's not mine. But, you know, and that's when you got to feel for these athletes that get all these really just wrong, bad comments for nothing. The ones that get me is like, oh yeah, he cost me my parlay at the weekend. He screwed my bets up. And I'm like, dude, man, do you think he not feels bad for losing? You know?
Like, I don't know. That shit drives me crazy. And I had to ask you, because I asked you if you had seen it. The Borga and Ferea thing. So what is your take on it? Because you're a female. Like I said, I took it. I was kind of like, hot damn, this is a little too spicy for me.
You thought it was too spicy? Now, I've known of Christine for many, many years. So, you know, like I said to you, was it Christine? And you went, yeah. I went, yeah. She, you know, she's probably gonna say what a lot of people are thinking, but just not have the balls to say it to that person's face. Fair play on it. It's like you said, it was the Onlyfans girl, wasn't it? Oh, sorry, what's her name?
Yes.
So she has thick skin and a thicker skin because she's promoting not only the Onlyfans, not in the way we spoke about it at the beginning, but in the old way. So and I'm just a true believer that, like, if you're putting content out there and people know it's you, then you've got to be prepared to take whatever comes back, and especially at a press conference when you've got an outspoken individual. I say fair play. I mean, I did just play it at that one part that you probably thought was too spicy. And it's the only, do you remember me saying, going, I haven't got no sound. Why haven't I? I was turning it up, then it just went, oh, yeah, I remember. That is, yeah. Thing is, though, that liquid does not weigh that much.
No.
I'm not saying it, but I'm just saying that liquid does not weigh that much. So
it was crazy because watching it, like, you could see, and I'm not trying to shit on the guys because I've said this for a while. A lot of the guys feel like they forced their trash talking. It doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel like they're really strong in that. Promote themselves as kind of like Connor, how he talks shit. They're not naturally gifted like that. With Christine Ferea, that's the last of it, she said. That's like the very tail end. When she pulled out that ratchet belt, I want to see it. I tried to yo, Christine, like, I want to see the belt. Hopefully it's not some cheap plastic WWE thing. She pulled the ratchet belt thing out, and she's going ham. The guy behind her, Mike Mundell, he's part of Borga's camp. He tried to talk shit, and she said, fuck her and fuck your whole camp. And I'm like, oh my God, this girl is nuts, right? Like, she's talking shit to everyone.
And you just wait till she gets in that, what do you call it? Is it Trigon?
No, Trigon is the other one. That's I think BYB or something like that.
Is that more UK, my side?
No, Trigon, I think I know they do a lot in the UK, but they do a lot out of South Florida because one of the owners is a guy named Data 5000. And he was part of like that Kimbo Slice.
Oh, but yes, I know. You only have to say it once. Data 5000 backyard walls. Yeah, I'm down. Yeah.
You know, so I know, but they do. And he has said that he loves the UK because they draw better crowds in the UK than over here in the States.
Really?
And, oh, yeah. He said that. I was listening to him, I think it was like 3 days ago. And he's like, oh, I love our UK shows because we always pack the house in like a day and a half. Like, they sell their stuff out fast. I was like, damn, like the UK fans are bloodthirsty over there for some bare knuckle.
I must admit, yeah, a lot of people like ex-MMA athletes over here have gone to BKB or BYB or, you know, and I know a lot of people going over to that side of it in the UK. And I didn't realize it was that not that good, but like we sell out more than the US.
Like, I can only go with what he's saying. He's one of the owners, right? Like,
yeah.
So he was just really excited about it, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. And one of the girls that I have interviewed recently, she had broke her wrist. She won a championship with a broken wrist. Still finished her fight and won. So she's getting better, but she was like, oh, I can't wait to fight over there. And I'm like, I'm just curious what the difference of fans, like, is it because they're louder or are they more engaged, or, you know, is it way less people that are attending? I'm not sure because she never got to do it. And she was my one that I've got that has, you know, wants to go over there. And a lot of the girls in BKFC, like Borga, Britt Hart, they haven't got the fight in the UK yet. And I know Connor's kind of teasing the USA versus UK thing, but I'm just curious, like, the fan base, what's the difference of it? Because as someone who's been a part of wrestling shows I help promote and everything, if you draw a good gate, your wrestlers love it, right? Like, because they know that these people are going to go crazy and everything, and it's inspiring for them. So I have seen BKFC events where you see a lot of empty spots, right? Like,
yeah.
So you're like, well, damn, like, it's not selling out like that. Yeah, you're loud, but if I have a full pack arena, these people are going to go nuts, and I'd rather the full pack arena.
Did you know I've not been to a BKFC? I will. I'm going to try and talk to someone to go to the Manchester one. I'm going to try, but whether it happens or not, as we discussed, you know, a week or so ago about costs involved and stuff.
Yeah.
You see, I like going to America to watch UFC, and that's because you have a better setup, bigger screens that come down.
Yeah, like a bigger.
We in the UK, we don't have arenas like that. The new Manchester arena, which the BKFC is not at, by the way, I think it's still at the old arena, which it holds less than the new arena. The new arena holds 23,000, which is the biggest.
Wow.
Inside in the UK. I'm not too sure what the AO Arena used to be called, the MEN, I think, in Manchester holds, to be honest, but it's definitely smaller because, like I said, the newer one.
Yeah, I think the old was like 11, 12 or 11, 13 or something like that.
And also, if you wanted to go even bigger, you got the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which I'm not a Spurs fan, but apparently the concerts there are absolutely amazing because the ground is actually. See, my son and I were Man City supporters, but he says the Tottenham ground is such a nice one. So if a City supporter from up here up north can go all the way down south to London and go, yeah, Tottenham is actually a nice ground, it holds a hell of a lot more people. But
it's funny that you had said that you're Man City fans because my kids love soccer, right? Like, or football. They put me onto it because I'm a typical American. I'm snobbish. If it ain't basketball, football, I don't mess with it. So I was like, y'all like this? And my oldest is a Chelsea fan. My youngest is an Arsenal fan. And I'm like, well, how did y'all become fans of them, right? Like,
no London, though.
I was like, wait. We have 6 billion soccer clubs. How did you become fans of them? And I can't remember the guy who played on Arsenal, but my son, my oldest, he loved Ian Hazard, right? Like Ian Hazard was his guy. So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. So they're like, oh, you got to get into soccer. I'm like, all right, right? Like, so I'm like, oh, I'll just pick one of these teams out here. They're like, no, America sucks. Can't pick them. I'm like, all right, well, damn, right? Like, all right, I'll go find somebody else. So Thomas Muller, who I went and seen in a game one time, he played for Germany. And I'm like, yo, what's his club? They're like FC Bayern Munich. I'm like, all right, I'm an FC Bayern Munich fan. They're like, well, why? I'm like, well, why are you Chelsea and Arsenal fans? They're like, oh, because London is soccer. And I'm like, okay, but
there's a few more in London, though. You're right. I think on the football path, I think that's kind of inherited from the male perspective. Although when I was growing up, I used to work in our club, Swindon Town, when we were actually in the Premier League for all of one season. But yeah, I actually managed to work there. But I grew up, first of all, going around football. Boxing and football, I think, was my first two male-dominated sports, I would actually say. So, yeah. But Man City, his granddad was a City fan. His dad's a Liverpool fan, so it's quite funny. But I'm a huge Oasis fan, so that actually suits for Man City because they're Man City. Oasis are. So that suits me fine. I'm not I'll watch the England games. I'm not so much of like a casual or even a casual football girl. I would prefer my combat sport personally. But yeah, Arsenal and Chelsea are pretty, worlds apart. Definitely.
Football like this, so many clubs, and you could really. I'm breaking up bad.
You are breaking up. That, I'm like going. Is that
like
me?
A test match, right? Like it's all lost you.
I'm here.
You know what it is? It's my side. It looks bright as hell out here, but I got a lightning storm going on that my internet is like.
Oh, have you? Shit. Yeah, we're going back for a heat wave again. And I'm too hot.
It's true. So listen, I'm gonna get you out of here so I can try to freaking save this and make sure I don't lose it because I don't want it to mess up.
No,
please plug all socials.
The content at the beginning is the one we need to get out about OnlyFans and it not being 1980s still.
Oh, for sure. That's it. I didn't know what we were going to come in with because I was like, man, I'm just going to kick it. We're going to have some fun. And when you said it, I'm like, that's it. That's the basis. That's what we're going with. Like, I've had a lot of fun. Thank you. Welcome. First, welcome to the team because I've been trying to get you on forever. And I'm like, I got to get her because there's something about her that I don't think that people, there's not someone who speaks like you. And there's a passion to it that I'm like, I got to be able to have this girl. Like, she's just so dope. But please plug your socials so I can get you and we can get up out of here.
Yeah, so Instagram, Emma Bramford, or my work is 5 Rounds with Emma. It's a pseudo on my name, EMMA. Hardly use Facebook, but it's Emma J. Bramford. TikTok is Emma Bramford, where I put a lot of my old American UFC fights that I went to, like the walkouts. I love the walkouts. So, but yeah, basically my name is pretty much my socials. Oh, on Twitter, X, yeah, same, Emma Bramford. It comes up Emma, and then I spell May as in M-A-E. So it's, say it fast, it's MMA. MMA. I know, corny as hell, but they've been there for a little while. But yeah, and like the first conversation we had, and it was about Onlyfans, and we're sailing away with it.
There we go. So listen, I'm gonna play my music on the way out because I love what I do. For myself, this beautiful young lady, we out of here. Deuces.
Bye.
There's crooks in your castle, then there's nights full of battles. Some fight with the barrel, that's eagles versus vultures, and olives versus arrows. Carhartt apparel, had ruled by the pharaohs who traveled through